America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Hey, Merry Christmas, wherever you are this morning. Hope everybody's well. I'm out west, still on the road. That's how come my different kind of a shot here. I'm at my daughter's house. I'm with my granddaughter. Isn't that something? But Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. Merry, happy, whatever you celebrate. Hello, TikTok. I don't do happy holidays. I don't know what that means. I'm not playing around. I don't know what happy holidays means. I know what every other greeting throughout the year means, right? Happy Valentine's Day, happy Thanksgiving, happy Independence Day, Merry Christmas, all of that. This time of the year, over the years, we've just kind of said happy holidays because it's this notion that we can't identify a specific holiday so as not to offend anyone. I think we're all big enough and I think we're all strong enough and mature enough that nobody's going to get offended if I say Merry Christmas to you. I'm married to a beautiful Jewish woman. And I say Merry Christmas to her all the time, and she doesn't get offended. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, happy whatever, blessed whatever day this season that you celebrate. Matt Gaetz. Let's start there. Hello, TikTok. Amen, Stuart. Let's start there with Matt Gaetz. And look, the House Ethics Report on Matt Gaetz is out this morning. So it's public. We now know about Matt Gaetz what we kind of always thought we knew. There was enough evidence to nail him for statutory rape. He had sex with underage girls. There's enough evidence to nail him for illegal drug use. He was doing drugs on Capitol Hill in his office. He was doing drugs everywhere illegally. And there's enough evidence in this House Ethics Report to nail him for obstruction of justice. Matt Gaetz obstructed justice. So again, none of this, the House Ethics Report is out. It's public now. Out today, all the lurid, ugly details. None of it should be surprising. He knowingly had sex with underage girls, 17 and under. He knowingly used drugs illegally. There's more stuff. Go ahead and read it. Lurid details, all of it. Read it. And then he obstructed the justice. He obstructed the investigation into all of this. Matt Gaetz. If you want to TikTok, get into the ethics report and read it, have at it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because my mind, Matt Gaetz is a punk. He's always been a punk. Does it surprise me that Matt Gaetz had sex with underage girls? No. Does it surprise me that there's enough evidence to convict him of statutory rape in the state of Florida? No. Doesn't surprise me. Nothing in here surprises me about Matt Gaetz. I want to make 2 points regarding Matt Gaetz this Monday morning, the Monday before Christmas. Point number 1, this guy, Matt Gaetz, statutory rape, illegal drug use, obstructing justice, long list here. Donald Trump wanted this guy to be the top law enforcement officer in this country. TikTok, that's point number 1. Trump wanted him to be attorney general. Statutory rape, illegal drug use. This guy, history of sex with underage girls. Trump wanted him Donald Trump wanted him to be the top law enforcement officer in this country. The top cop, the attorney general. That says way more about Donald Trump than Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is who he is. He's a punk. He's a punk. Right. I'm done. Trump picked him. This is what matters. Donald Trump picked him to be attorney general. A guy where there's enough evidence that he raped underage girls, and Trump picked him to be attorney general. The top cop in this country. Let that sink in. I mean, really, even you MAGA, right. And it just cracks me up. Here it comes on Facebook. Joe, Hunter Biden trafficked in child pedophilia. Hunter Biden had sex with underage girls. For some reason, MAGA, Trump supporters cared that Hunter Biden was a jerk. Hunter Biden did shitty things with underage girls. For some reason, it bothers MAGA that Hunter Biden might have done all that. But when it comes to Matt Gaetz, MAGA is all of a sudden just so very quiet. Big deal. Trump picked him to be the top cop in this country. In an America that cared, about the rule of law, that would piss everybody off. That would even piss Trump supporters off. Donald Trump picked him to be the top cop. Now, Trump picked him to be the attorney general because Donald Trump believes the Justice Department went after him. So Donald Trump wanted to pick a son of a bitch, somebody he could control, to be in charge of the Justice Department, to go after the Justice Department, to destroy the Justice Department. And Trump doesn't care if Matt Gaetz is a criminal. Trump could give a damn. Statutory rape. There's enough evidence in this House ethics report to nail Matt Gaetz for statutory rape. MAGA, do you care? There's enough evidence, man, up and down the sheet to convict Matt Gaetz of repeated illegal drug use. And there's enough evidence in this report to convict Matt Gaetz of trying to obstruct justice. And there was a day when these things mattered. There was a day when these things mattered to Republican voters. Not now. Which leads me to point number 2. Like I was on MSNBC last night, and talking about this, and I said this stop this conversation about Matt Gaetz. Stop. This it doesn't matter what he did. Because the personal character of a candidate no longer matters to Republican voters. On November 5th, Donald Trump got rid of that. The re-election of Donald Trump told every American and really everyone around the world that the personal character of a candidate for public office does not matter. Stick a fork in character. Character's dead. The character of a candidate is dead. That no longer matters. Trump's election made clear that you can be a pathological liar. It doesn't matter. You can be a convicted felon. It doesn't matter. Donald Trump has a history of abusing and harassing and raping women. And his voters knew that. And they still voted for him. Donald Trump was impeached twice. Donald Trump tried to blackmail the head of another country to dig up dirt on Trump's political opponent. And America still reelected him. Donald Trump lied about the 2020 election and sent this country into crisis, and the country re-elected him. Donald Trump incited a violent attempt to overthrow an American election, and the country knowingly re-elected him. Donald Trump, because he was incapable of caring about anyone but himself, led to the deaths of millions of Americans during COVID. That's all on Trump. But America still reelected him. So Donald Trump's cruel. He's a bully. He's dumb. He's ignorant. All of that. And most of the people who voted for Trump knew all of that. And they still reelected him. So it doesn't matter. The character of a candidate does not matter. RIP, rest in peace. Character's gone as a campaign issue. Moving forward now, because of what Republican voters did in 2024, any candidate can be a pathological liar. Any candidate can be a serial adulterer. Any candidate can be a harasser and abuser of women. Any candidate can break the law. Any candidate can be corrupt. All of that. And we can no longer complain about it. There was a day, there was a day when it mattered. The character of a candidate mattered. But most Trump voters, they and I said this last night about Matt Gaetz. So this isn't going to hurt Matt Gaetz. This report out today that there's evidence that Matt Gaetz committed statutory rape, illegal drug use. This isn't going to hurt Matt Gaetz. This will probably help Matt Gaetz, TikTok. This will help Matt Gaetz with Republican voters. Like it's not only that Republican voters no longer care about the character of a candidate. I think it's worse. I think most Trump voters like that Trump's a bad guy. They like that Trump's a criminal. They like that Donald Trump is corrupt. And you know what? Sadly, I think most Trump supporters like that Donald Trump lies to them all the time. So this shit about Matt Gaetz, I think they'll like it. Matt Gaetz gave a speech yesterday, everybody. And Matt Gaetz said, I'm going to run for Senate or I might run for governor. And people in the media, the mainstream media, were like, oh my God, but wait, the House Ethics report's coming out. Matt Gaetz committed rape, illegal drugs, all the rest. How can this be? How can he run for office? And I said, it's going to help him. Because Trump's voters, Trump's supporters, MAGA voters, they like that. They'll like that Gaetz is a criminal. They'll like that Matt Gaetz is corrupt. Maybe they'll like that Matt Gaetz fooled around and had sex with underage girls. Maybe, right? Republican voters will like that. All I know is this report will this is what's sad. This ethics report will not hurt Matt Gaetz politically at all. And in fact, it will help him. Right? All of the bad stuff in this report, it will help him. It will not hurt him because Republican voters, Trump voters on November 5th said personal character no longer matters. Doesn't matter. And I think that's a bad thing. I think that's a sad thing. I think that's us as the American people wanting to be so partisan, so got to make sure so much that our guy wins, that even if our guy is a really, really bad guy, it doesn't matter. Like that's a sign of extreme partisanship. My guy can be, as Trump said, my guy can shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue. It doesn't matter. Most people are still going to vote for my guy because he's my guy. That's a bad, scary place to be, but that's what Trump voters have said. Trump voters have said now for 8 years, Donald Trump is doing shit I want him to do. I don't care that he's a horrible human being. I think that's a bad place to be. I think that's a dangerous place to be. I think that's a scary partisan place to be. I think, look, I think Democrats are there too. They're not as far along as Republican voters are. Most of us tend to be hypocritical. Most of us will give guys on our side, candidates on our side, a hell of a lot more slack, right? Like, my guy can be a bad guy. My guy can do bad stuff, and I'll still vote for him. But if the other guy does that same bad stuff, man, he's horrible, and I'm voting against him, right? We're all hypocritical to a degree on that score. But we've never seen something like with Trump. And maybe that's the point of Trump. Trump is such a horrible human being. Corrupt, criminal, dishonest, cruel, authoritarian, all the rest. But his voters made clear they don't care. So they don't care. So you think they care about Matt Gaetz politically? Matt Gaetz could run for governor of Florida in 26, Senate in 26, replace Rubio. None of this will be bad. And I leave you with this. And this has changed really quickly. 12 years ago, I'm running for Congress and I foreclosed on a condominium. And 12 years ago, because I wasn't making a lot of money, I couldn't make the payments. 12 years ago, I foreclosed on a condominium I owned, and that back then became a huge scandal. How quaint is that? 12 years ago, running for Congress, I foreclosed on a condominium. I had bad credit. I had a bad credit rating. And back then, in that America back then, my bad credit rating, that was considered scandalous. People wanted me to drop out of the race because I foreclosed on a condominium. Isn't that amazing? 12 years later, we elect somebody like Donald Trump, who went bankrupt 6 times, and that's just the start of it. So it doesn't matter. I could run for Congress right now, and I could foreclose on 100 condos. I could be a corrupt SOB and run as a Republican. It doesn't matter, because 2024 gave every Republican the green light to be as bad a person as you want to be. And as long as you're their bad person, they're still going to vote for you. So Matt Gaetz, rapist, illegal drug use, all the rest, MAGA. This is only going to be good. Hey, did you see this story? Missing Congresswoman. TikTok, did you see this story? Kay Granger, 81-year-old Texas Republican Congresswoman, went missing in July. No one had seen her publicly since July. Turns out she turned up at the end of last week. She's in a senior facility down in Texas, in some memory care facility down in Texas. She's got dementia. A congresswoman, Kay Granger is her name. I served with her. She went missing for 6 months. Did you see this? This story broke on Friday. 81-year-old Congresswoman. Nobody's seen her since July. She hadn't voted since July. She hadn't done her job since July. They closed up, her staff closed up all her congressional offices. Anybody who called into her congressional offices, they were sent right into voicemail. We found out on Friday she's in an old folks home down in Texas. She's got dementia. You can read about it if you want. Kay Granger. She's not running for re-election, so her term ends January 3rd. None of that matters. What does this say about us? What does this say about our broken government politics? That a United States Congresswoman can be missing since July, and A, it's not a story. B, none of her constituents raise a fuss. C, the media doesn't talk about it until 3 days ago. D, where she's a Republican, the speaker is a Republican. The speaker must have known that she was gone, that she'd gone into some senior facility, that she had dementia, that she could no longer vote. I mean, the Republican speaker knew that she had not voted since July, wasn't able to do her job. Mike Johnson didn't do or say anything. Man, in a nutshell, how broken we are politically. In a nutshell, that a member of Congress can go missing for 6 months. By the way, she was last seen in July, this Texas Congresswoman, Kay Granger, wandering around her neighborhood. Didn't know where she was. Kay Granger, back in March, she was one of the most powerful Republicans. She was the head of the Appropriations Committee in Congress. She was the boss of the money, where it goes, how it's spent. She's got dementia. She goes missing for 6 months. She can't do her job. And nobody says a thing. And we find out 3 days ago she's been in a senior home, some memory care facility. She's got dementia. All the best for her. I wish her all the best. But man, it's our job as citizens in this country to stay informed, to stay engaged. When we have our member of Congress missing for 6 months, she's not doing her job. She's not voting. She's not representing us. This district, her district, went without representation. The final, 6, 7 months of this year. And we, the people, don't raise a fuss? Come on, guys, it's on us. Where have her constituents been? We should have known about this back in July. We should have known back in July she can't do her job. There should have been a special election down in this Texas district. A people out of touch. I mean, how the hell in America can a member of Congress go missing for 6, 7 months and nobody know about it? I'll tell you how it can happen. We've grown so cynical of our politics that we roll our eyes and say, well, Joe, it all sucks. We as a people are not doing our job, staying informed, staying engaged. If we were informed and engaged citizens, we would know if our member of Congress, our representative, was not doing their job. So this is on us. We get the people we deserve. If we've got a member of Congress who's got dementia and she can't vote for us, do our job, represent us, that's on us. We're supposed to keep a watch. By the way, the media, our media is supposed to be on this. Shame on you, media, for not doing your job. And yeah, shame on our representatives. Shame on the people who worked for this Congresswoman, who kept getting paid for 6-7 months while they shut down her office and closed her offices and sent all the calls to voicemail. Shame on her staff. Shame on Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who knew this Congresswoman was not able to do her job, and he kept his mouth shut. And a district, a people, 700 some thousand American citizens down in a district in Texas went without representation these past 6.5 months. Shame on the Speaker of the House. Shame on Kay Granger's Republican colleagues. This shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen. And this is a clear sign that we have a broken political system. And the only way it's going to ever fix itself, TikTok, is if we stay informed, if we get more informed. By the way, I'll close with this, TikTok and everybody else. What the hell? She's 81 years old. She first got elected in 1997. Why the hell is she still in Congress? This is what pisses me off. When I went to Congress, the second bill I introduced was a term limits bill. No member of the House can serve more than 3 2-year terms. No member of the Senate can serve more than 2 6-year terms. Term limits. I couldn't get any of my colleagues to sign my term limits bill, but our founders never envisioned we'd get here where we had members of Congress dying in office. Our founders never intended for Congress to be a career. Our founders never envisioned professional politicians, career politicians. Our founders never envisioned, right, a time where members of Congress would get so damn old and they'd get dementia and they couldn't do their jobs and they'd stay in office. Our founders never envisioned any of this. Our founders envisioned citizen legislators. You go there for a little bit of time, you serve, and you come back home. That's what our founders envisioned. Republican, Democrat, we don't have that anymore. This is such a sad story. Such a sad story. Wake up, American people. This is on you and this is on us to stay informed and stay on our representatives. Joe Walsh, thanks for listening, everyone. Joe Walsh, whiteflag@gmail.com. That's all one word. Merry Christmas. Joe Walsh, whiteflag@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, TikTok. Be brave, everybody. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract